Felipe Montoya is an upstanding citizen, a permanent resident, someone who pays his taxes and obeys the law, works as a professor at Toronto's York University. Yet he and his family are at risk of deportation because, well, his 13-year-old son has Down syndrome. Citizenship and Immigration Canada has told Montoya that his son's condition makes him inadmissible to Canada because of the tax burden his son would place on Canada's healthcare system. Yet this is the same government that welcomes refugees with open arms. Because of the way Canada's immigration laws work, when a family applies for residency but finds even one member ineligible, the whole family suffers as a result. Because Montoya's son Nicolas has Down syndrome, the whole family is at risk of being deported. Of course, how did Citizenship and Immigration Canada come to this conclusion? By calculating how much Nicolas would cost Canadian taxpayers. That certainly doesn't seem to be an issue with the refugees, or even more so, the pensions and salaries of these federal bureaucrats. I can think of a lot of different ways taxpayer money is wasted, and it doesn't include having to fork over a little extra for a child with Down syndrome. This is the problem with our Soviet-style healthcare system. When everyone is forced into a single-payer system, then your health and well-being becomes my business. So instead of deporting this family, why not start forcing people to eat right? Obviously, I don't want the government to force people to eat healthy, but why not? If we are going to follow this logic, that if something costs taxpayers extra money, then the government should enforce regulatory standards. The Citizenship and Immigration Canada bureaucracy estimates that Nicolas Montoya would cost around $20,000 to $25,000 a year, as opposed to the average per capita health and social service cost of $6,387. Of course, government bureaus can't calculate rationally, so this number is arbitrary. As well, this is an argument for private health care, not deportation. And besides, how much does an obese person cost Canadian taxpayers? With all the side effects of diabetes, heart disease, and other related sicknesses from being overweight. Or cigarette smokers. Why don't we deport all immigrants who smoke cigarettes and force naturally born Canadian smokers into a publicly funded rehab? This is the same logic Citizenship and Immigration Canada is applying to the Montoya family, not to mention how much Justin Trudeau's refugee plans are costing Canadian taxpayers. Welcome to Canada, where if you're not a part of a humanitarian refugee propaganda plan, then we don't want you. And we especially don't want you if you are sick or have a mental disorder that might cost Canadians more than what the salaries and pensions of the bureaucrats are already sucking out of us like the parasites they are. Subscribe to the channel, support us on Patreon, and as always, my friends, press for truth. When ISIS attacks, the blood's going to be on their hands. A false flag is in the works, folks, and you can bet that the response is not going to be pulling out of the Middle East. It'll be more war and more power to the state and less freedom to say the things that you just heard in this video.